we got to go on kind of a Lara Croft Tomb Raider adventure training day. We got to learn how to be real Tomb Raiders by going to the woods.
That's true. We got an email from Square Enix, and they were like, we're putting together this thing with fans and with cosplayers, and we want to invite some IGN friends to come hang out for the day up in the Santa Cruz Mountains here in California. So we got in a car with Kyle, who works here on our social team, and Naomi, who's a host here. And we spent an entire day in the woods learning survival training techniques, which is really odd for us because we live in a major city.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, we're
times
kind
are
of-
changing. Who knows when you'll ever need to use skills like that.
Yeah, I feel like we're incrementally less useless as human beings.
Yeah.
We're kind of just idiot city slickers for the most part, but it was cool to go out and do
Yep.
that sort of like, here's how you build a house out of leaves. But yeah, here's us, hanging out, being dumb. You know, I feel like we look like camp counselors there.
Yeah, it was cool. They gave us like those like survivor buffs basically to wear. So this is really fun. We spent the day out in the woods. Max, let's take a look at some of the cool stuff we did. So this is the big sort of camp area they had us in. When we pulled up, I was like, oh, this is going to be like being in 5th grade again. This is going to be lame. Turns out it was actually really fun. So we worked with this guy who works for this company called Adventure Out. This is Cliff. You might have seen him on TV. Cliff Hodges. And Adventure Out is basically a group of people that organize trips out into the wilderness. They do stuff like surviving a night in the Arctic snow tundra and staying out in the woods and apparently covering yourself in mud and shooting an animal so the last thing he sees is sheer terror.
Yeah, just a real nude man.
Yeah. So this is a shelter we actually built from scratch. This is Jen Croft, who's a cosplayer, who's on my team. We actually split up into different teams, and we're given points based on that. So these are shelters we built with 45 minutes to go. Using basically one big long crossbar, which was a big dead tree we could find, and then building Y-shaped things around it to sort of make ribs, and then stacking even more stuff on top. We built a shelter, rudimentary, but enough to kind of stay the night in for one person, or two if you snuggle.
Yeah.
And it was kind of gross and terrifying
Oh, it
because
was awful. Yeah,
we're pulling up all sorts of like mulch and just.
You found newts?
I found a newt, like we found a banana slug that was just like this fat yellow neon looking thing. It's just very gross. One thing they did say we could do is you could start a fire right in the entrance of this thing and smoke it out. But now I know, like if something goes horribly awry, I can make a rudimentary shelter to last the night,
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Here's my house. Check it out. I'm hiding in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we even made these doors. You guys made a wreath for the door here.
We actually stole the one that the guy who was demoing it did.
Yeah.
I mean, we just found it in the woods. It was
And
all
I
there.
will say that these houses, they do not photograph well. I tried to take a bunch of pictures of it. It just looks like we hid in a mound of dirt.
Yeah, they look like compost heaps. But
Which I
there's
think is
there's
good for a
structure
bear,
there.
right?
Yeah, it's cool because people can't find you.
Yeah.
And then we learned how to make fire, which
Yeah.
I feel like I actually did do in 5th grade. It's kind of what's cool about this is all stuff you feel like you could kind of figure out, but it would involve some trial and error. So it's cool to have like
Yeah.
survival dudes being like, yeah, this is less likely to give you hypothermia.
Yep.
You still might get hypothermia, you idiot, but you know, it might be better. But yeah, we.
So this was basically taking a stick, bending it, using some sort of like shoelace or cord or anything like that, and then taking another stick that you kind of whittle down a little bit with a knife, putting a flat thing on top, and just going as fast as possible until it started creating friction, which then
Yeah.
you took that little tinder and you dropped it into something and lit a fire.
Yeah, and then of course we actually made bundle bows, which
Yeah.
were functional bows just made out of they were like paracord and sticks.
Yeah,
That was it.
So this is actually the bow that Lara starts off with in Rise of the Tomb Raider, one of my favorite games of the last few years. Really, really cool. You just take sticks and you of different lengths, short ones, medium ones, long ones, and you make this long thing and tie it together, and you're hunting within a few minutes. Like, kind of incredible.
Yeah.
Again, this is Jen Croft, one of the cosplayers I was working with. It was really surreal to look over and see cosplayers as Lara Croft.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just disorienting to be like, and like Jen Croft, like she nailed it. Like she was, it was funny because she showed up and she was like kind of covered in fake blood, and then she proceeds to get in like a fake house, and then she looked increasingly dirty, and it was
Yeah.
like, well, you're really getting in there.
Yeah.
That's working out. But yeah, here's the reinforced bow.
Yeah, this is what they actually look like in the game, if you remember. So it's really cool to just go out in the wild and be like, hey, we're making video game weapons in the woods today.
Yeah. Also, like Cliff, the survival guy, was like, "Hey, so if you're actually in the woods and you're actually starving, I recommend pretty much anything but trying to make a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Maybe a long stick. Start with that.
Yeah,
You
he
know, if
said
you're trying to-
basically make spears, throw them at rabbits and stuff like that. Yeah. This is Salem Croft and Jen Croft that we worked with. Again, really surreal to be working with two Tomb Raider cosplayers while we were doing Tomb Raider stuff out in the woods. Yeah, just really awesome. So it was just really cool how this whole thing came together.
Yeah, it was fun.
There was some other stuff we learned, like sort of like water purification using hot rocks on your fire and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a thing you can do. Like look up Adventure Out, look up places in your town. If you're like me and Max, you're probably indoors playing video games most of the time. You're watching stuff on TV. You don't really have an excuse. Like, I'll be totally honest with you. On Saturday, I was going to wake up at like 10 a.m., maybe make a Bloody Mary and sit around and play Watch Dogs all day.
Yeah, or Tomb Raider, yeah.
Or Tomb Raider. Instead, I was like, hey, we're getting in a car, we're going out in the woods. It doesn't feel corny, it actually feels really cool. So yeah, look up Adventure Out, look up programs like this in your town, in your region, and get out there and make a fire.
Yeah, burn stuff.
Burn stuff.
Learn how to do it first, though.